I spent most of that fall hiking alone, just trying to escape my tiny, stuffy apartment. I needed something real. Fresh air, the crunch of leaves underfoot, a view that made the week's stress shrink to nothing. Every overlook felt like a reward, a few minutes of peace, maybe a couple photos to prove I'd been there, and then a slow drive home under that perfect orange light. That Saturday was one of those mid-October days that made the Shenandoah Valley feel like it belonged in a painting. Reds and golds melted into each other, the air crisp enough to wake me up but not sharp enough to bite. I had already tackled 2 trails and was heading to my last overlook before calling it a day. When I pulled into the small lot, it was empty, quiet except for the wind and the occasional crow echoing from the slope. On the low, moss-covered stone wall edged the viewpoint, and a faded sign warned not to feed the wildlife. I parked, grabbed my mini tripod, clipped my phone in, set the timer, and 3 beeps later, the shutter snapped. Nothing fancy, just a memory, a marker that I'd been there. The trees whispered in the wind, the crows squawked once, then silence. That's when I noticed the car. A dark blue 4-door sedan rolled in slowly, easing off the main road, and parked a couple spaces away. Headlights off, engine humming softly, no one getting out. At first, it didn't scream danger. People stop at overlooks all the time. But something about the way it angled toward the road, ready for a quick getaway, made my skin prickle. I glanced down at my phone, trying to act casual, but in the reflection I could see the car behind me. The driver was slouched low, almost out of sight. When I turned around, they sat up straight like nothing had happened. My mind kept trying to make excuses. Maybe they were eating, or just didn't want to be seen, but every time I faced away, they slipped lower again. I kept pretending to take photos, heart pounding in my chest. The valley looked stunning in that fading light, but I couldn't focus on it anymore. Then, just as I bent to fix the tripod, I heard the crunch of gravel. The car had rolled closer. I froze. Slowly, I turned toward it, and the driver stopped, staring back at me through the windshield. I lifted my phone, pretending to snap another shot, but my hands were shaking. In my phone's reflection, the driver's seat looked empty, but I hadn't heard a door open, and the car hadn't moved an inch. That's when my body started to panic, even though my mind kept trying to brush it off. Maybe it was nothing. Maybe I was just tired, but the air around me felt heavier by the second, and deep down, I knew whoever was in that car was watching me, waiting for me to move. I decided it was time to go. Walking straight to my car would have meant getting too close, so I looped wide, keeping my vehicle between us. My heart thudded in my chest as I tried to look calm, like I was just done taking photos. But then the sedan rolled forward again, closing the distance. I hit unlock, slipped in through the passenger side, and slid over to the driver's seat as fast as I could, every nerve in my body screaming to leave. My heart was pounding so hard it felt like it might break through my chest, but my hands just moved. Muscle memory took over. I started the engine, slammed the locks, and gripped the wheel. The sedan didn't move at first. Then it rolled forward, inch by inch, until its front bumper was nearly touching mine. I could feel the vibration through my seat. Panic crawled up my spine. I shot a location pinned to my friend Liv and typed fast. Scenic overlook, weird car behind me, lights off, won't leave. Her reply came almost instantly. Call me, now. Before I could even hit dial, I laid on the horn. The sound echoed across the valley like a scream. The driver jolted upright, then froze completely. I kept pressing until my arm ached, every second stretching longer than the last. Then my phone buzzed again, calling the ranger station. "Stay in your car," Liv texted. For the first time, I realized how truly alone I was on that mountain. The sedan edged closer, tires crunching on the gravel, then swung its front wheels left, like it was trying to pin me in the pull-off. My stomach dropped. That was it. No more hesitation. I slammed the gas, my car lunging forward, slicing through the narrow gap before the sedan could fully block the lane. Heart hammering, I checked the mirror. The sedan didn't follow. It just drifted back toward the wall, almost casual, like nothing had happened. My hands were still shaking when the road curved a few bends later, and there it was. A Ranger Cruiser parked on the shoulder. Relief hit me like a punch, making me laugh out loud, shaky and unsteady. I pulled in behind him, hazards blinking, still trembling from the adrenaline. The Ranger rolled down his window, notepad in hand, clearly caught off guard. "There's a car up the road," I blurted, voice tight, heart racing. "It's been following me. I think it wants to trap me." Blue sedan, lights off, still watching. My pulse was in my throat when I told the Ranger what happened. He didn't even hesitate, flipped on his lights, calm but alert, and motioned for me to follow. We drove back up the mountain, tires crunching against the cold pavement. When the overlook came into view, my stomach twisted. My car's old tire marks were still there, and so was the sedan. Same spot, same silence. The Ranger parked sideways, blocking the exit, and stepped out with a steady hand hovering near his belt. He walked up to the driver's window and said evenly, "Sir, roll your window down, please." Nothing. Then, slowly, the glass hummed halfway down. The man inside looked about late 30s, face pale under the dashboard glow, eyes lost in glare. When the Ranger asked why he was parked here with his lights off, the man didn't answer right away. He just smiled, cold, slow, like he knew something we didn't. "You don't want to ruin anyone's pictures," the Ranger said calmly, but I could feel the tension hanging thick. "License and registration," the Ranger continued. The man handed over his license without a word. When the Ranger asked for registration, the driver just said it was in the trunk. When the Ranger asked for registration, the driver just said it was in the trunk. "Stay where you are," the Ranger instructed, circling the car with careful, measured steps. He tapped at the license plate and frowned. Dark tinted cover warped the numbers. Illegal. "You'll need to remove this," he said firmly. The driver didn't flinch, didn't argue, just stared straight ahead like none of it applied to him. The Ranger leaned, checked the plate from another angle, wrote it down, then said, "Let's go. You're leaving the park now." The man nodded slowly, started the car, and drove off, calm as if nothing had happened, leaving a knot of unease in the air. The Ranger turned to me, his expression serious. "You did the right thing," he said. "That cover makes the plate unreadable to cameras. We'll file a report." I asked what it meant, hoping for reassurance. He sighed, shaking his head slightly. "Could be nothing. Could be someone avoiding tolls. Could be worse. You did right by not engaging." I followed him down the winding mountain road, every turn loosening the tight knot in my chest, until finally we reached a more populated area, where the lights and movement felt almost like a safe blanket after the tension of the overlook. He told me to stop by the station if I wanted to make a written statement, but it wasn't required. "Next time," he said, "if anyone follows you with their lights off, go straight to a public area. Don't wait to see what they want." I nodded, though a part of me wondered, had he seen this kind of thing before? The Ranger didn't answer, just gave a quiet, "Drive safe," before walking back to his cruiser. Later, I stopped at a crowded lookout near a small gift shop and a line of RVs. My phone buzzed non-stop, messages from Liv lighting up the screen. Ranger called me. "Are you safe? What happened? Do you need me to come out?" I texted back, "All good now, just creeped out, heading home soon." But even as I typed, My eyes kept darting to every passing car, searching for that same blue sedan. For hours after, I couldn't stop checking the rearview mirror. My brain replayed how he'd only moved when I wasn't looking, like he'd been studying me. I used to tell myself the world was mostly good, that hiking alone just meant being careful. But that night, it hit me how small and fragile that overlook really was, and how easily things could have gone differently. One open stretch of road, no cameras, no cell signal, and just one stranger's choice standing between me and something far worse. 2 days later, the ranger sent a short email. Vehicle identified, local address confirmed, no outstanding warrants. That line, I read it over and over, no outstanding warrants, like that alone meant safety. I went back to work on Monday, sitting at my desk scrolling through those photos from that day. The overlooked shots turned out stunning. Golden leaves, crystal clear sky, the valley's faint haze below. But in two of them, I noticed something that made my chest tighten. The blurred outline of that blue sedan, parked just far enough back that the windshield appeared black. Every other picture from that fall radiates peace. Those two are different. I haven't deleted them, but I've never shown anyone. Now, when friends brag about solo hikes or quiet photo spots, I give the same advice. If a car pulls in behind you with its lights off, don't linger. Don't be polite. Trust your gut and leave. Scenic views are better with witnesses, because up there, under all that golden beauty, one stranger can turn quiet into fear in an instant. So, I want to know, have you ever felt that gut-wrenching feeling that someone was watching you? Share your stories in the comments, and if you want more spine-chilling tales from real people just like this, hit that subscribe button and check out the next video. Okay, this video is awesome. You don't want to miss what comes next. It was one of those perfect fall nights, cold enough that you could see your breath, but not so cold you wanted to be inside. The kind of night that made the whole town feel quiet, like the world was holding its breath. We piled into Richard's beat-up truck, laughing and talking about nothing, headlights cutting through the fog as we drove toward David's pumpkin patch. Everyone in town knew that place. The hay rides, the little corn maze, the apple cider that tasted like sugar and cinnamon, but once the lights went out, turned into something else. Empty. Still. Almost like the fields were watching you. We joked about ghost stories as we parked by the fence, but deep down, I think we all felt it, Dot. That weird, heavy feeling that tells you maybe, just maybe, you shouldn't be there. The ground was soft beneath our boots, and every step made that wet, squishy sound that somehow made the silence worse. The air smelled like damp soil and rotting vines. We spread out a little, our flashlights cutting weak beams through the fog. Donna and Andrea laughed quietly as they picked out a few pumpkins, but their voices felt small out there, like the fog swallowed every sound before it could travel far. I glanced back toward the scarecrow, and for a second I swear it looked different, like its head was tilted just a little more toward us. I tried to brush it off, telling myself it was just my nerves, or maybe the wind. But there was no wind. The air was still. Heavy. We carried the pumpkins to the clearing and started carving, joking and daring each other to go touch the scarecrow. Richard laughed and said he'd do it for $5, grabbed his flashlight and started walking toward it. We watched his light bob through the fog until it disappeared into the white haze. A minute passed, then two. "Rich?" Ethan called out. No answer, just silence. Then, from somewhere in that fog, came the sound of something dragging slow, uneven, heavy. The laughter stopped. My stomach dropped. Okay, not funny. Andrea said, standing up. That's when Richard's flashlight flickered back into view, lying on the ground. But he wasn't there. The scarecrow was. Only now, it looked like it had arms that weren't made of straw. She was staring straight ahead, eyes wide. Guys, did that thing just move? We all turned toward the scarecrow. Through the thick fog, it stood there, arms outstretched, just like before. But now it looked like it was leaning forward slightly, like it was watching us. My stomach tightened. Probably just your imagination, Ethan said, forcing a laugh, but his voice cracked halfway through. Then we heard it, a faint creak, like wood twisting under weight. The sound came again, closer this time. Richard stood up, shining his flashlight directly at it. See? It's just a dumb scare. He stopped mid-sentence. The beam hit the figure, and for a split second, we all saw it. The scarecrow's head tilted to the side, slow and unnatural, and I swear I saw something glint behind the holes in its burlap face. Eyes. Real eyes. The light flickered and the figure was gone. The fog swallowed everything, and suddenly, we weren't laughing anymore. But it wasn't. It was a tooth. A real human tooth. Small, yellowed, with the root still attached. For a moment, none of us said anything. I just stared at it in my hand, trying to process what I was looking at. Dude, that's not funny, Ethan said, but I could hear the shake in his voice. I'm not joking, I whispered, holding it up. The laughter stopped. The fog around us seemed to grow thicker, heavier. Richard leaned in to get a closer look, and that's when we heard it. Soft at first, like the sound of fabric dragging over dirt. Then came the creak again, louder this time, and a slow shuffle behind us. Andrea gasped. It's not on the post anymore, she said, pointing with a trembling hand. The scarecrow was gone, just an empty wooden stake standing in the mist. My heart slammed in my chest as Ethan swung his flashlight wildly around the field. For a second, the beam caught movement. Something tall, hunched, slipping between the rows of pumpkins. And then, nothing. Yeah? Then why the hell would anyone think that's funny? She snapped, her voice echoing across the empty field. None of us answered. The laughter from earlier was gone, replaced by the sound of our breathing and the soft rustle of the corn nearby. I glanced back at the scarecrow's post. It was empty. My heart started pounding so hard it hurt. It was right there, Ethan whispered. His flashlight flickered, catching something moving just beyond the pumpkin. A shadow, tall and crooked, swaying like it was made of straw and bone. Donna grabbed my arm. We need to go, she hissed. But before we could move, we heard it. The sound of something dragging across the dirt, slow and deliberate. Then came a low creaking sound, almost like a laugh. The air turned ice cold, and I swear I felt something brush against my neck. That's when I realized we weren't the only ones in that field anymore. Then came the crunch of footsteps, slow, dragging, deliberate. Keep moving, I whispered, but nobody did. We just stood there, trapped in that heavy fog, listening. My flashlight flickered, and for a split second I saw something tall shifting between the rows of pumpkins, its burlap face torn, straw spilling out like veins. Run! Andrea screamed, and that snapped us out of it. We bolted toward the fence, tripping over vines and broken pumpkins. I didn't dare look back, but I could hear it following, the scraping, the uneven steps, like something not used to walking. My chest burned, lungs on fire, and when we finally reached the truck, Richard fumbled the keys, his hands shaking so bad I thought we were done for. He got the engine started, and as we tore down the dirt road, I looked back one last time. Through the fog, standing in the middle of the field, was the Scarecrow, its head tilted, watching us leave. The silence stretched so long it felt unreal, like time itself had stopped. Then, out of nowhere, the rasping sound came again, closer this time, slow, dragging breaths that made my stomach twist. "It's just the wind," Ethan whispered, but even he didn't sound convinced. Andrea's flashlight started flickering, and when it finally went out, she screamed. That broke everything. We ran. The fog swallowed us whole, our footsteps thudding against the wet ground, hearts pounding so loud it drowned out everything else. I risked a glance over my shoulder, and that's when I saw it. Something tall and hunched moving through the mist, each step heavy, deliberate. The Scarecrow wasn't hanging anymore. It was walking. My chest tightened, my throat burning as we sprinted faster, tripping over vines and smashed pumpkins. The rasping turned into a growl, raw and animal-like, echoing across the empty field. Every instinct in me screamed to keep running, but even then I could feel it behind us, close enough that the air felt colder, heavier, like it was breathing down my neck, waiting for one of us to fall. We slammed the door shut, locking them without a word. Everyone was gasping, covered in dirt and sweat, our hands shaking so bad none of us could hold the key steady. The headlights cut through the fog, but for a second, I swore I saw movement at the edge of the field. Something tall, swaying, just watching. "Go! Go! Go!" Donna screamed, and I hit the gas. The tires spun in the mud before catching, and we sped off down that dark, narrow road. No one said a thing for miles. The air in the car felt heavy, like whatever we'd seen was still with us somehow. When we finally got to town, we stopped at the diner, lights buzzing above us, trying to catch our breath. Ethan broke the silence first. "We all saw it, right?" he asked quietly. No one answered, but we didn't have to. We knew. Later, when I drove back past that farm weeks later, just to see, the field was empty. No pumpkins, no fence, no Scarecrow. Just dead grass and fog rolling over the dirt. That's when it hit me. Whatever was in that field that night, it wasn't meant to stay buried. Even now, years later, I still can't shake what happened that night. Every fall, when the air turns cold and the fog starts rolling in, I think about that field box, about what we saw, what we ran from. Sometimes, when I drive past the back roads near town, I swear I see a figure standing out there in the dark, motionless, waiting. People still talk about the David farm, saying it's cursed, that strange noises come from the fields when the moon is full. Maybe it's just stories, or maybe he's still out there, watching over what's left of his patch. I don't know what we stumbled into that night, but I know this thought it wasn't a prank, and it wasn't our imagination. Whatever that thing was, it wanted us gone. And if you ever find yourself wandering through a foggy pumpkin field after dark, and you notice a Scarecrow that seems a little too close, don't stop to look. Just run. Because some harvests were never meant for the living,